So now we'll get into some of the new president's scandals and anti-feminist, misogynistic remarks. Yay, buckle up. What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson. What? What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna get a little political, y'all. South Korea just had their presidential election, and yikes. So first of all, neither candidate has been very popular. Even when I watched like Asia Boss interviews, they were saying it's like picking the lesser of the two evils. However, there are a few alarming things that both of them had in common. For example, they were both accused of being misogynistic, somewhat xenophobic. Yeah, that's a lot for me, being a black foreign female. The results came in last night and Yoon Suk-yeol became the winner. He's also the first conservative since Park Geun-hye was impeached a few years ago. He defeated Lee Jae-myung. It was very close, neck and neck. So I figured for this video, I would just kind of... First of all, I want to say, like, young people really need to get out there and vote. And it sucks because old people know how important it is and how fragile democracy is, so they take it a lot more seriously than we do. But the thing is, when you're a younger person and you don't vote, you're letting all these older people stuck in their ways make decisions for you and make decisions that are going to impact your life. And no bueno. Like, no, you need to get out and vote, people. So I wanted to talk about politics in South Korea with this new president-elect, the impact of his campaign and administration might have on like foreigners, women, people, you know, life in Korea, how it may or may not change in the near future. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Teeny Blends, y'all. If you have blackheads or large pores or both, you definitely want to add a good clay mask to your skincare routine, and make sure you use it at least once a week depending on your skin type. I've been using this mask since last winter and now it's the only clay mask I use. It's Teeny Blends Green Tea Detox Mask. It's important for me to have green tea in my skincare routine because it makes my skin soft and glowy and I feel better about my pores. Another bonus is it's 100% organic, vegan, and cruelty-free. I'm always insecure about my pore size and their appearance because they do become more visible as we age and they look bigger and longer and add more texture to your face. You want to put it on after you wash your face and add an even layer, and then you let it dry for like 10 to 15 minutes. You'll know it's dry when it turns this like lighter green color. And now you can see how fresh and bright my skin looks when I rinse it off. Every skincare routine needs a good clay mask, and you can use my code CCLESS for 20% off. Let me know if you guys try it. Okay, back to the video. Also, one thing you guys may not have known is in South Korea, the president only gets one 5-year term, so they can't ever like run for re-election. Honestly, I didn't know much about this election until both of them said some less than respectful or kind words about the Ukrainian invasion and war situation going on right now. Hold on, I want to read this quote. I don't want to mess this up. So first of all, Lee Jae-myung said, Volodymyr Zelensky, who lacked knowledge in politics and diplomacy, provoked Russia. The Ukraine president is responsible for the outbreak of war. Yikes. So then Yoon Suk-yeol, Mr. Yoon, decided to be like, oh, I apologize on behalf of my counterpart. How disrespectful. And then people dug up the fact that on his Facebook, he more or less said the same thing. Yoon basically blames the invasion of Ukraine because Ukraine didn't join NATO, like they haven't been trying already for the past few years, but that's what he cited on Facebook. So unfortunately, a lot of people have noticed that misogyny and feminism is like the core of this campaign, of this whole election cycle, because fun fact, not very fun at all, like 90% of Korean men in their 20s are anti-feminist or against feminism because they see it as not an act of equality or an effort for equality, but women trying to do reverse discrimination against men and take their jobs. I wish I was making that up.
Our butts off. Now these
female
folk come in and we can't get work nowhere. Well, they took our jobs. They took your jobs. They took your jobs too.
Alright, so I'm gonna go through a bit of his background, some scandals, his campaign platforms, and how this may or may not impact and affect foreigners and just life in Korea, how it may or may not change in the near future with a new president. So Yoon Suk-yeol is a conservative, but a lot of people consider him to be like a conservative populist, like kind of just drifting to whatever is popular and whatever people want to hear. So he also has like no political background. He was born December 18, 1960 in Seoul, and he actually has like a law background. He was a lawyer and he actually studied at SNU, Seoul National University. There's not a whole lot I like about this candidate at all, or president-elect, but one thing I did kind of find very, very interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard about this story, but after I watched this movie, Taxi Driver, 운전사, It's about like the Gwangju uprising in like the 1980s, like 70s, early 80s. They actually had a dictator back then. Yoon and his friends held like mock trials where they called for the execution of the dictator at the time. And a lot of people speculate that because of, you know, having those mock trials and stuff, he tried to pass the bar 9 years. It took him 9 years to pass the second part of the bar exam. So yeah, since this Yoon man has no political background whatsoever, one thing that I think is really important for you guys to understand is conservatives and conservatism involves like strengthening the ties between the US, so yeah, I'm not sure where he fully stands on foreigners just yet, because aside from wanting to strengthen military and allied ties with the US, he hasn't really said anything much about foreigners. One of the things that made Moon Jae-in not very popular is because he was being very friendly with North Korea and trying to like de-escalate and calm down and negotiate and talk with them, whereas a lot of conservatives just say like F North Korea, we will strengthen ourselves with the US. And one of the things Yoon has also said is that strengthening our ties with the US will keep us safe from North Korea. So that's all we need. We just need to stay strong with the US. He also demanded that the US would redeploy nuclear tactical weapons on the peninsula. And of course he said like, oh, US will do this. And the US said, no, we're not. And he never brought it up again. It's no secret that Moon Jae-in was kind of distancing himself from the US and like trying to work this out on his own, which it sucks because I thought Moon Jae-in was a pretty good dude. He valued a lot of women's issues and listened and cared. But these days, apparently the only like main issues that people care about, like rising house costs, youth unemployment is really high, stagnant economic growth, things like that. So now we'll get into some of the new president's scandals and anti-feminist, misogynistic remarks. Yay, buckle up. On January 7, 2022, he wrote on his Facebook page, "Abolish the Ministry of Women and Family." While a feminist organization called it hate politics, he has been labeled as an AWOL anti-feminist and said that South Korea women do not suffer systematic discrimination. You also got to keep in mind, South Korea is a country where there actually are a lot of anti-Me Too movements. I wish I could roll the tape. So one thing that happened recently that wasn't great, not really trying to say it's his fault, but his wife, Yoon's wife, threatened to jail news reporters who spoke negatively about her husband. She said, if I make it to the Blue House, I will put them in jail, talking about the reporters. And another thing that's interesting, they don't really say all the names of the people here. And if you guys know who I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. But Mr. Yoon showed strong support for a politician who is now jailed and he's always been known to be very dismissive towards the Me Too movement. This Mr. Yoon guy, to me, in my humble opinion, seems to be one of these people that doesn't really have any key issues or key platforms. Like, it's like Hamilton.
When all is said and all is done, Jefferson has beliefs, Burr has none.
And he has no political or presidential background experience whatsoever. For those who are, you know, planning to go to Korea over the next year, within the next 5 years, because he will be president until 2027, this is the new president. So thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.